Hello, beautiful humans. I just wanted to have a bit of a catch up with you guys, see how everyone is going, see how life is treating you. I hope that it has been treating you well, and if not, that it has at least been a little bit kind to you and you've been able to do something that you love lately. I feel like life has just been full on and overwhelming, working and having chronic illness and then trying to be social in the meantime is just absolutely exhausting. Having a chronic illness is a full-time job as it is, let alone trying to work excessive hours in a workplace. It can just become really, really hard, and I think my last proper catch-up that I had was for my ketamine infusion. Now, ever since I've had that, I feel like my pain, I still have really bad pain, but it's like it's been taken down a notch. Like I had to up my medication for in the morning because I was struggling so much still in the mornings, and I still am, and that's something I'm really trying to overcome, but I'm finding it really, really hard. But there's like little blessings in disguise amongst all of the struggle as well. Like I've had some time with my best friends and some of my other friends that I haven't seen for a really long time, and you know, just bits and pieces here and there. I've seen some of my family. It's just never as much as you want it to be. Like I can never work as much as I'd like to. You can never hang out with your friends for as long as you want or see them as often as you'd like, and you can't exercise as much as you'd like. Like there's just so many things that start to add, and it's always like, I can't do this, like I'm unable to do this, but there's not enough of, but I can do this. Like I can wake up, I have a roof over my head, I have some really amazing people in my life, like I have a job, I have a car. Like things like that are literally a luxury, especially when it comes to living with chronic illness and a dynamic disability, because some people can't work at all. There's times where, like lately, I could work maybe 20 hours a week, but then it's starting to catch up to me. And then there's other times where I can't work for weeks at all. So it's about grabbing what you can when you can and doing the best you can with what you've been given. And I know that can be really difficult. Like I know I personally have been in a really big slump mentally. My headspace just isn't great, and like all I can do is be honest with myself about that. Like I've tried to not fake it till I make it too much, because then I start to live in this delusion that, you know, everything's fine, I'm fine, and you know, like that's all fun and games for a little bit until you realize you're not actually acknowledging any of those other emotions you need to, and you're not sitting in like any of your emotions and feelings like you need to, and that's not ideal. And like for me personally as well, like I just can't do that. But saying all the time like, yeah, I'm okay, I'm not too bad, yeah, like I'm fine, like it just starts taking a toll. And like I hate not feeling fine. Like I hate not being able to just be like, good, thanks, or like, yeah, I'm so good today. Like, you know, just anything positive at all like would be really nice. But it's hard. I've been finding it really hard to wake up every day, be reset to these really dull emotions, and having to fight through the pain and the discomfort every morning. I'm like, I have to do this for the rest of my life every day. Like, is it going to get easier? Is it going to get better? Like, do I really have to do this every day for the rest of my life? Like, it cannot be like this forever. Like, surely that's just not, like, it feels not doable, and like a completely just awful experience, really, being honest. But all you can do is just take each day as it comes, each moment, each second, depending on where you're at and which part of the day. Like my fatigue's been hitting me really bad, so I've been just like trying to relax as much as I can, but then it's like I'm bad at relaxing, because you're like, oh, you need to be doing this, like you need to be doing this other thing, like why haven't you done that thing yet? Like, or your room starts getting messy, your space starts getting cluttered, and then you start to feel even more cluttered in the mind. And it's just so frustrating. Like, I'm really lucky to be working with a couple of different psychologists at the moment. One doing some exposure therapy for some trauma work, and the other one for someone who actually works with people who have chronic illness and are in palliative care and in hospitals all the time and stuff like that. And like, it's been really beneficial for me, like, to just have someone remind me of the things that I have achieved, and that it's not all about the stuff that you can't do, and some of the stuff you have done and that you might be able to do. It's just really hard to acknowledge those good things when a lot of your day is just trying to survive, and it seems to be mostly a lot of the bad things. Like, that just, it all starts really taking a toll on you mentally. And then, like, if you're anything like me, like, your mental health starts to really affect your physical health. Like, you can like spew or have a really bad stomach, and like just get bad headaches, and like be really tense all the time, like sore jaw, and like a sore body, like you're just aching all the time. It's just been really hard, and I haven't been as active on socials or anything as I'd like to. And if I do, I pop on something random and like have a bit of a scroll, maybe post something random and then hop off. And it's just like, I miss interacting with people, but I haven't had the energy and the drive to connect with people like I want to, and like I really need to. Like, the worst thing for anxiety is to not be around people at all, and depression. But then your depression and anxiety can make you really close off and dissociate from people and things, and you know, people you love, and situations that you were excited to be in, that then when it gets to the time, like, you just couldn't even fathom doing it. You really just start getting sick and tired of being so constantly sick and tired. And like, I guess there is a bonus that has just really started to get me going again and moving again, is I got the okay from my physio and my doctor and like the specialist I was seeing for like my infection, and they've said I can get back in the pool. And over the last few weeks, I've been trying to go at least a couple times a week, and so far so good. No more infections, no more like abscesses and stuff. So that is just a really good thing to be able to say. It took maybe like 6 months for it to clear, but we finally got there, and like, I'm finally allowed back in the water. I don't need another surgery. Like, after my MRI and everything now, which is just really, really good. So I had to get an MRI to catch up and see what was going on with the infection. They thought I had a fistula near my bottom. And like, it just has been really painful. And like, over time, I think that's been starting to heal a little bit. But as you know, if you have endo, like, your bowels are just a bit of a temperamental thing anyways, and it's something that can be a really, really big struggle. Since my last proper catch-up video too, actually, I did have a meet-up in Toowoomba, where I live in Queensland in Australia, for people with endometriosis, and it was to try and spread some awareness and to just create a little safe space, like, with a group of people, anybody who was interested. And it was a nice little turn up between some of my amazing friends and my family, and we raised some money and got to send it home with an endo warrior on the day, and that was really, really great. Like, even though it was only a small group of people, it was very intimate, and I got to meet some other people with endometriosis that I haven't met in real life yet, that we've just spoken online, and that was really, really cool to put a face to some of the like amazing people I've met in this community, because this sort of stuff has been one thing to really help me, like, advocating and getting to know people who suffer from a similar, like, from similar situations, because it is just so hard having to turn yourself inside out all the time for people. like trying to explain how you're feeling and why you're feeling like this and why something's affected you, how it's affected you. Like, it's really nice to not feel like you have to do that as much, and that people just understand you and how you're feeling. Like, that to me is just wild. I will post that as well, my endo chit chat thing that I had, like my little speech that I wrote for that. I would love to post that on here too, to see if it gets out into the world. I just really want anyone who can see it to see it, because it took me years of being diagnosed with this debilitating illness to realize it's not just for women, and that it can affect anybody, pretty much anybody, anything, any organ. Like, it can really take over someone's life. Like, and that's what it's done for me, and that's what it's done for thousands of other people. And like, that's like, it's not great. But if you only get like gynae sort of symptoms, and that's very lucky for you, but some people get whole body symptoms, are physically disabled from this sort of stuff, like, and from living with this illness and having surgeries by people who don't know what they're doing, and people who can't admit that they probably need to do a little bit more training. But that's just not something that people say. People can't admit that they might be wrong, or they might not have all of the answers. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that the world faces right now, is that people don't want to be wrong, or they don't want to, like, not know. It's like there's shame in learning and being authentic to yourself. And I know I feel this a lot. Like, I carry around so much shame and guilt with me all the time, and a lot of the time I don't even know why. And if I had someone that I love tell me that they were treating themselves how, like, my internal dialogue works, like, I would feel so sad and be like, hey, like, blah 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 blah. But like, I really struggle to take on my own advice when it comes to that sort of stuff, and I know I need to, and I know I shouldn't shame myself for literally existing and stuff that's not in my control. And that is one of the biggest problems that so many people face. Like, you're only human, and I think that's something to remember. Like, we're all only human, we're all doing our best. Everybody is affected by everything differently. Like, you just need to be respectful and kind and loving to people, like, regardless of if you know them or not, because that could really alter someone's whole day. Like, that could be a day where they're really heavy and down and sad, and they're struggling to be on this earth, and it's as simple as you smiling at them, and that could just give somebody a little bit of hope. And that probably sounds really stupid, but I can vouch for that 110%. Days I don't want to be social, I might be struggling, I don't want to go anywhere, but then you go and have a couple of conversations with some people, you have some laughs, and someone's just kind to you, and it just changes your whole idea of the human race. And that is just so important, and it is just so important to listen to each other and to just not be a-holes. Like, is it really that hard to not be an ass? There's so much going on in the world right now, and so many people are struggling and grieving and hurting and just fighting their own battle, and that will always be the case. So please just be kind to people, take care of yourself and your body. Your mental health is just as important as your physical health, never forget that. Like, it is so crucial, and you deserve to, like, live a healthy and happy life. And if anyone tells you you don't, they're lying, and they don't know. I know. I know what's up.